Would you say like it's not easier to necessarily make it right now, but what would you say is kind of like somewhat of a winning formula from what you kind of see?
I mean, I think in general, being on this side of things, before I was more so on the indie side, but now, you know, sitting here working with more label artists, I understand the biggest, because I never used to understand like why somebody, you know, quote unquote, didn't make it.
Right.
But now, you know, working with a lot more of the label artists, I get it. It's like a simple formula, but it's just very hard to execute.
Okay.
So it's like, consistency is the main thing. Like being able to get somebody to consistently do albums. And that's rare for somebody to have that dedication to be able to work through, you know, regular life, all of the regular life shit that goes along with this, and to be able to consistently drop projects. I give everybody the formula. I'm like, if you drop, you know, 4 small projects a year, and you do that for 3 or 4 years, I don't see how you cannot get something.
Right.
I mean, granted, the music I feel like has to be, you know, decent enough that people pick up on it. But I'm like, that's to me the main formula. And to answer your question, is it hard? It's like it's easier in some aspects as far as creating music. Mm-hmm. When we first started, you know, it's like you needed to go to the studio to create records. Mm-hmm. Now people are making records at home. And, you know, provided you got a good ear and you understand what's going on, you can cut albums all day long. You got videographers that, you know, lots of videographers to work with and collaborate with. You can create a social media presence, but it's just so much material now that, you know, you could do that and, you know, be saturated in a particular field. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know the answer if it's easier now, but I know what is still applicable from when I first started working with a lot of indie cats, and now is the people who are the most consistent tend to make it the most. Working at home, I feel like you get to a ceiling.
Right.
Because it's like unless you have somebody with the proper expertise to get your records to that next level, you're gonna always hit a ceiling.
Right.
And it's like working at home, the benefit of it is you have unlimited creativity. But it's just like the gym. You know, if you got a gym in your building, you got a gym in the crib, people will work out, but you gotta be a really dedicated person to hit that gym. You know what I mean? In your crib. If you have that love, you can do it. But the studio, it forces you to, like, you know, be in a space and one is collaborative. So you're gonna get different ideas from different people, and then the vibe is just different. Right. And it kind of forces you to work in that environment. So it's like, I get it. But it's like, I think both aspects are necessary. I don't feel like you should never go to the studio, and I don't feel like you should only be you should always go to the studio. You should only be at home. I feel like, especially for newer artists, you know, spend a little bit out of your budget to get you a setup at home to practice, to get you repetitions.
Right.
But, you know, the magic happens in the studio. Right. And it's like the producers are gonna meet you in the studio. They wanna hear the big speakers thump. The vibe is just gonna be different in the studio, and everybody can create in the studio, but you have to be ready with your aspect. Like that's why you gotta get the stuff at home. You gotta know when it's time to drop a verse. You can't take, you know, 3 hours to do a verse. Yeah. And it's like people who are home practicing, they're prepared, because they're used to being at home, recording that vocal, and they know what it's like. So when they get in the studio now, it's easy work. And it's like, that's how the studio is supposed to go. And that's the benefit. Like, this is the best time, I think, in history to make music, because it's accessible to everybody. Yeah.